Welcome to the Somewhat Frank podcast, hosted by me, Frank Gruber, and joined by my friends and colleagues, Jen Consalvo and John Guidos. This podcast explores the latest trends and advancements in technology and business, including emerging startups and how they shape today while looking forward towards the future. We also enjoy testing new gadgets and products and sharing our findings too, along with our favorite pop culture picks like music, books, and what we're streaming. This podcast is produced in collaboration with our company, Established. Ready to dive in? Time to be somewhat frank. Hey everybody, Frank Gruber here. Welcome back to the Somewhat Frank podcast, where we're going to be talking about tech, innovation, creativity, and everything in between. Today I am joined by two amazing folks, Jen, the connector Consalvo, and Simon, straight out of left field, Kahan. Welcome you two. How are you doing?
Howdy, doing great.
Hey Frank, doing well. Thank you.
It's been a long time since we've had a podcast. It's been since last year anyway. The end of last year, we kicked one out in December, and here we are. And we're in April, and we're getting our first one out. So all that's going to tell you is that we've been extremely busy doing a lot of different things, and we're going to get this train back on the tracks here as we roll the rest of 2026. So before we do that, though, I want to jump around the horn. What's something that's exciting to you that's been happening in the world right now that kind of catches your attention? Jen, you go first. Ladies first. Go first. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's funny, when I was first thinking about this, I'm like, I don't know, like what's new? And then I was like, wait a minute, Artemis.
Okay. What are you excited about with Artemis?
I am excited about the crew. I think everyone right now, if you look on social, everyone is so enamored by the crew and just how they are so poised and just have all the right things to say right now to the world, which is a really beautiful thing. And as we know, there's a lot going on in the world right now. So that's been exciting. The fact that they've traveled over 250,000 miles from Earth, they set a record. So the furthest away from Earth, surpassing the record that was set by Apollo in 1970, seeing new parts of the moon, the dark side of the moon. That was really exciting. I absolutely loved that they said the communication blackout, was it 40 minutes that they went without communications, was so nice. Like imagine, like we all want to take a little bit of time away, right? Where we're just like not in communication with people, but they literally were like not in communication with Earth, with anyone. And they were like, it was so nice.
It does tell you something about our culture.
It tells you a lot.
Yeah.
And the photos witnessing the Earth set instead of the sunset or the moon set, the Earth set, I thought that was beautiful. So that has me jazzed. And my one prayer is that they will do, and Frank, you're the one who planted the seed in my mind, but where's the video? I do want to see, these photos are lovely. I want to see video. I'm praying that they had some mechanism that has just been recording, and at some point they're going to release like this long recording of what it all looked like in real time.
Yeah, I'm excited that, they've shared some photos. I think I've seen 4 out of the 10,000 photos that they took. That's one of my, I guess, things with it is like, I think it's awesome, but like, can you just like be streaming it live? We have technology now, like at our fingertips, that you could have been streaming the whole thing as you're literally going away from the Earth. You could have been like showing us the Earth getting smaller the whole time. Like, I want to see that like real time. Not like later after they've, totally like cleaned it up and everything, and with their, because a lot of these photos, especially even of the Earth, if you put them in AI, they say that these are CGIs. These have been, augmented in some way, and it's because they've been cleaned up. I mean, every single one of them that they've shown has been looked at as CGI. I think at this point, if you can correct me if that's
those are the two camps on the internet, right? It's like we love it all, and then the other camp is, okay, but show me the video.
Show me the video. Why are we hiding the video?
I don't want the other touched up perfect photos.
Perfect. Well, touch up. There's, how many satellites are going around the Earth? There's like 10,000 satellites going around the Earth. I don't see one satellite in any of those photos. Where are they? Why have they why have they been edited out?
I don't think we're going to go into too much of this this territory.
No, I'm just saying, why have they been edited out? Like I want to see the satellites pinging or going around. Like where
they're pretty
is that?
Small though, Frank, right? I mean,
well, you'd be able to see them though. You'd be able to see them moving around the Earth. And that's what I'm saying. If you showed me the Earth going away from the Earth, I will be able to see those.
Right. Everyone wants to see all the noise. Give me
I want to see
video,
all that stuff, all the space debris, everything that we've been talking about. We invested in a company called Scout that's literally doing things to kind of be a vision for space.
Get you elected.
I want to see more. Isn't that the way of life, I guess? But yeah, I mean, I assume they're going to do that at some point. I would hope so. I mean, it is our taxpayer dollars doing that, so I'm hoping that they can share more than a few photos. All right, Simon, let's move along. Something a little bit more down to earth, with what you've been thinking about
Yeah.
lately.
So
Yeah.
in the time since our last podcast, I've really became an adult, and my finances are all together now, and I understand insurance. And I actually went to this restaurant in Charlottesville called the Fitzroy. Shout out to the Fitzroy. Really phenomenal customer service. Like, I felt like I had a really deep connection with one of the servers there. Um, I don't think she knew, but also the 2000,
Well, she knows now.
she knows now. Yeah. The 2026 World Cup is coming up. The U.S. had some friendlies the other day that were sort of indicative of our performance and how it's going to be at the World Cup. We lost pretty badly. Our star player, Christian Pulisic, he's from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Um, he's our best player. He's not playing great, and I heard it's because he broke up with his girlfriend. So
Ugh.
I know. So we
Oh.
got to get him on Hinge, or we got to get him cuffed stat. Otherwise we're gonna lose. But very excited for the World Cup. I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to go to a few of the games. Um, and yeah, we'll see how we do. But I'm looking forward to it.
Was not following. How do you follow along, or where's the best way to kind of get engaged with the World Cup?
Yeah. So I think there's gonna be a major marketing push. It's sort of already happening, but it's gonna only get more kind of in your face online. So just look up the World Cup. They'll always have the matches there. They're taking place between, Canada, U.S., Mexico. But like all the good matches are in the U.S. And the U.S. has their home opener in L.A. against Paraguay. So
Mhm.
that will be in the news. Keep up with it. It's gonna be great. It's my favorite thing ever, I think, the World Cup. Um, and so we'll see how we do.
Wait, wasn't Pennsylvania having some financial issues? Wasn't that a big controversy around the stadium and not being able to afford certain things? Did they resolve all that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not sure specifically about the Pennsylvania one, but I was surprised actually to hear that there are a lot of infrastructure concerns, which is maybe not something you would think about in the United States because we have so much infrastructure. But yeah, I think there's a lot of stadiums that aren't prepared for the number of people and for like the influx into these kind of towns and cities. Just because it's so truly international and people travel all over the world. The one thing, along with like the infrastructure concerns, is the cost of tickets. So like soccer or football is sort of the world sport, and it's people from all socioeconomic areas can come together and watch normally in the World Cup, and the tickets are absurdly expensive.
Like, give me a price point.
Yeah, give you the price point?
Yeah, what's the price point for like just to get in the door?
I mean, I know for certain seats at the final, it's $50K a seat.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, those are for the really good seats, but I mean, you're not going to get a seat for one of the games for less than at least $400, going up to thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's a shame, but we'll see. Hopefully, people have access from all walks of life, and the U.S. is going to beat Spain, but we'll see.
You're calling it now?
Calling it now. I'm betting on.
Okay.
Just kidding.
We'll watch for it. Thank you, Simon. All right, and there's just been a lot going on the last few months. Obviously, we went over to CES in Las Vegas and helped produce that pitch event that we've been producing now for quite a while with the CTA Foundation. That was a lot of fun. We got a chance to go to South by Southwest in March, and that was a lot of fun as well. There's a lot of activity there. This year they merged film and interactive with music at the same time, so it was like this 7-day long festival with all of it combined, which is a new thing this year. That which changed the format slightly and made it really interesting from a there was music launches and events every night, but there also were music, film films that were showing, and then there was a concert after because there were a lot of documentaries happening, especially around music. So I got to see a Jack Johnson documentary, for example, and then Jack Johnson had a chance to answer some questions. I actually got to say hi to him, and then he did a concert that night. Noah Khan did that as well, right? So we had you were actually a star of a show. We'll talk about that a little bit, right? So there's a new documentary coming on this week, I think. So
Out of body. It premieres on Netflix on April 13th. I got to do like the red carpet thing and at South by Southwest, and it's just really weird. Like, it's weird seeing your parents divorce on Netflix. Like, that's always strange. But yeah, I'm in it a little bit. It's
Yeah.
mostly about Noah and his like relationship with my dad. So if you guys want to know about my dad, just open Netflix on April 13th.
Your mom's in there too. Your whole family is great. You guys did a great job. I'm sure that was a lot of pressure, and you
uh,
handled it very well.
yeah, we kind of just look like liberal rednecks, I think, in the entire thing. Like, there's a lot of like forge stuff and like drinking beer and stuff. So it will be interesting. But yeah,
It's very approachable. You did a great job. So that's coming out. It's about an hour. How long was that movie? It was like an hour or so, hour and a half. Yeah. So that's coming out April 13th, and uh, there's obviously a music component to that as well. Afterwards, Noah played a little show, and the same thing
Wait,
happened.
Simon, do you sing or play in it?
I have a little I have a little like piano melody in it that Noah sings over or like raps over.
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, no, I didn't know that. Like, he'd be like, "I'm coming to film today in your apartment." I'm like, "Oh, cool." And I thought it would be like B-roll or something. So I didn't shower and I wore like my ill-fitting high school soccer shirt.
Literally, the
And
apartment that you're doing the podcast in right
yeah,
now.
the very same.
That
And
same
then I'm
backdrop.
watching this at South by in front of like 1,000 people. And it's just me like disheveled, not shaven, like saying something stupid to Noah on camera. So had I known, I maybe would have shaved
Ah,
something or like done anything for hygiene.
Right.
the moral of the story is
Don't trust.
always always be ready.
Yeah.
Don't
Always be
trust your
ready for that
brother and
camera.
always be ready.
Family will leave you. Okay. Anyways, that's my last update.
Yeah. Okay. Out of Body, April 13th. Check that out. And obviously, what else? Lainey Wilson did a similar thing. There were a lot of music, a lot of interactive. They had the same kind of interactive stuff they would always have at South by, which is interesting. And then, um, you know, the people are always like, "Is South by back?" And I feel like it is. I feel like though at this point, it's gotten to the point where it's really big, and that a lot of big brands are participating in ways that they didn't in the past. With all these different, a lot more celebrities, a lot more. It's kind of moved up a notch as far as what they're producing. So I thought that was really good. And then the film piece was huge. They did more films this year than they've ever done, which is kind of interesting. And I think that trend will continue. And it brought more of those folks into the fold during an interactive component. So that was kind of new. So that'll continue. Obviously, they'll do it again probably next year in Austin, and it was nice to get a little warm weather as well. And then also just we continue to do our stuff with established ventures and invested in a company. I can't disclose who it is yet, but we'll talk about it a little as soon as we can. So that's been going on, and we close that out, and that's exciting. Also on the music side, been producing a lot of stuff, putting things out. Since our last podcast, I have 3 songs out. That's crazy. With more on the way. So another one coming out on April 17th, about a topic that we're actually going to talk a lot about today, which happens to be screen addiction. Dopamine is the name of the song. It's about death scrolling or doom scrolling, I guess you call it. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that soon. All right. So today in history, Simon, what's been happening in history?
Yeah. So it turns out a lot's happened in history. And so this week in history, early April, not sure when you're listening to this. So 1896, and this week in history, opening of the first modern Olympics in Athens, which is a little bit later than I thought they initially started, but okay. Also the 1917 U.S. entry into World War I. You're welcome. And Houston, we have a problem. Call from Apollo 13. That occurred in 1970 and during this week. So other key
What
events.
is with all these April launches? That was the other thing I was going to ask about.
Probably
Launching a
weather.
rocket on April 1st, not my best choice. Launching anything on April 1st, not a good idea.
Yeah.
You don't, whether it be real or not. Like I saw so many things on April Fool's Day that I thought were fake, but they actually are real.
I know. I thought about like one day as a society, we've sort of made one day of the year useless. Like you can't do anything on April 1st because everyone just assumes it's fake. But this really did happen in 1970. Other really fun, super fun historical things is the 1966 recovery of a lost hydrogen bomb. Did not know we lost that.
How do you lose a hydrogen bomb?
1933 establishment of the Civilian Conservation Corps. So a lot of cool stuff. Don't love the hydrogen bomb thing.
Well, at least they found it. That's good.
Well, they didn't say how many they lost. We know they recovered one.
Why are we even like moving them around? They should be in like a basement or something. Anyways, okay, so that's history.
Wow. That's a lot. All right. Speaking, we're going to go move through here pretty quick with our stories. We each got a story we're going to go through, and it's been a little while, so hopefully we can get the dust knocked off here and get rolling. But the first one is, for me, I'm going to talk about a story that caught my attention last week. I had to literally, I think it came out on April Fool's, and that's why I was like, this can't be real. And it basically has to do with a company that I really enjoyed for a while back. It was a company called Allbirds. Do you remember seeing these sneakers around? These I had a pair of these. These are very well worn, but they're made out of wool, merino wool, and they basically were the trend for a while, and everyone was wearing these sneakers. And the idea was that they were really comfortable, but also very washable. And then eventually, once it started to rain on them, they started making them where they were more waterproof or anything. But the cool part about it was you could literally pack with them. They're very packable. Like, look at this. You could pack with them. They're like super, super tight from that perspective. And so I used them a lot for travel, being able to wear them. And they became really trendy where the point you could wear them with like regular attire. And for the Silicon Valley crowd, it was like wear those along with your Patagonia, vest, and you were like wearing the uniform, I guess you could say. And so anyway, the company Allbirds was valued at one point for they were valued at around $4 billion back about 2018-ish, 2019-ish timeframe. And they just sold their assets for roughly $39 million, which is ridiculous. The sale includes its brand, internet intellectual property and operations as the company winds down in its current form. I was shocked. I don't know if anyone else. How do y'all did y'all see the story and get any
Yeah.
reaction from it?
Yeah, I remember when my mom got me a pair back when in the day, and I love them. And this is gonna sound rude, and I love parents in general. I love all the parents in the world, but I felt like when the parents started wearing them, like they
Hmm.
kind of got a little less cool. I don't know. That was my take on it. And you guys are parents. I love you guys. Um, but I do think that's
Well,
kind
Simon, when parents started wearing them first, that
I
was the
know. But
thing.
that's happened with Facebook too. It's like it was really
Yeah,
cool, and then all your parents get on it, and then it's like not as cool. So sorry to break it to you, but I like
yeah.
them, and they're good products.
Yeah, I was just shocked that they had this transition. Because at one point I remember seeing articles about, oh, they're the new Nike, they're the next Nike, that they're going to outtake. Well, what happened is, despite all that, like these other brands are still existed, and what it showed is that you could create a brand pretty quickly via like social and Instagram and trend, people doing this as like getting influencers to use them and all that kind of stuff. And it grew pretty quickly into a brand that everyone kind of had to have a pair. But then, there wasn't enough of a moat to be able to fend off the other brands that have already been out there forever. Like there's a lot of brands, and it also shows you that outside of that, people started tacking on like attacking the same types of ways that they created their product and created similar products that were very similar, maybe a little less expensive or whatever. And so you just saw like a lot of different brands try to go after them, and that category of footwear is tough because of the lack of reoccurring revenue. I mean, how many pairs did you have, Simon? One?
I had two actually.
Oh, you had 2 pairs, okay.
Two
So
pairs.
you're reoccurring customer,
Hmm.
reoccurring revenue. I only had 1, and, mainly because you could wash them and continue to wear them forever. I think it would beat these up pretty good. I think I thought about buying another pair at one point, but I never did. I ended up going a different direction, and so I guess the no the non I guess you basically have to pull people in with the brand and the product to be able to get that reoccurring revenue, because there are so many other options from new companies as well as companies like Adidas and Nike, and I just saw Reebok's coming back with more vengeance. I haven't heard of that brand in a while, and so I think there's a lot of brands out there, right, that are creating shoes.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, especially for an industry like this, there's no such thing as a moat.
Yeah,
There's only relevance and staying relevant. And I think they had a few very real problems that they never addressed, like, or unless they eventually did. But I know one of the issues that I faced was they didn't have half sizes. So Frank actually bought me a pair. I did wear them a lot, but they never fit right. They were never the exact same size or exact right size. So they were always slightly uncomfortable. And that prevented me from buying more. So they're cute. I liked them. They weren't the most comfortable. And so when I thought of buying the next pair of shoes, they were definitely not top of mind, and that was their lost opportunity.
yeah.
So they needed to keep innovating and keep providing a good product that people liked, because they put all that effort into building an amazing brand, but they have to stay relevant with great product. So that's where I felt like they fell down.
Yeah, I think I forgot I bought you a pair. I think I bought my mom a pair, so I was the
Oh
parent.
yeah, you gifted like everybody the Allbirds. Like you were
Yeah, I bought
the
a
Allbird
bunch of.
fairy.
I was an
Inflation.
Allbird fairy for a while, yeah. So I was a big brand advocate for them, and then ultimately, what happened was, what happens? It rained. I lived in Vegas for a while. I had them; they were great. Then I went to places that didn't rain as much, or rain more. And, when you have a wool shoe and you're jumping in a puddle, it doesn't help. So what they did to address that is eventually they created more waterproof, more waterproof products, but it didn't solve my problem. I still had wet feet. So anyway, that was one issue. I'm sorry. Well, maybe the brand still has something, right? So they may
Yeah.
be able to pull that
Well,
out and regenerate it. Similar, like I said, like I don't know if you guys were big Reebok fans, but I mean, back in the day, Reeboks were like a big deal, and then they went through a phase of like non-existence, and now they're coming back as another like nostalgic brand, I guess you could say, that people are wearing again. And so I think that's the example I think that I could think of as like maybe they can come back as a nostalgic brand now for folks that wore them 10 years ago, and they're like, oh, those are pretty cool still. And I know people still love them and wear them. So I
maybe
don't
if
know.
they add a half size.
So they need to add a half size. They need to make sure they address the comfort you said, and then ultimately like they need to manage like making sure your feet stay dry situation. But yeah, we know like the tough part about shoes is when you build a product that's shoes, it's like if you have one product, like this is the first product that they launched, like they only had a few colors and then they started making a ton more colors, but every single one of these, they also needed sizes. So think about how much capital it is to like make the product, but then also to make every single size and both male and female. I mean, that's a lot of product laid out and a lot of cash early, right? And I think that's where it's a really tough product category to get into, and we know some friends that have done it as well. It's just tough. You almost have to have like one type of shoe to begin with, and then grow, and then once you start duplicating that, and you have like 100 different product types, that just goes crazy, and so you can burn through that cash pretty quick. So that's kind of the bummer of it. All right, so moving along, Jen, what do you got?
All right. So looking to our friends in the north at Concordia University out of Canada, researchers have discovered that a pinch of gold dust may be the secret to bringing longer lasting and safer batteries to the market. So this may sound boring, but what do we all care about every single day? Batteries, battery life, right? Battery life is essential to everything. From our electronics to alternative energy storage, right? So it's this critical technology. So researchers at Concordia University discovered that sprinkling tiny amounts of gold nanoparticles onto a zinc battery's inner surface can reduce dendrite growth. So I'm not going to go into the science, by up to 50 times, dramatically extending life. So the reality is their gold-treated zinc batteries lasted over 6,000 hours in testing. So that's a 50-fold improvement over uncoated zinc batteries. So it's the costs to this. It sounds expensive because it's gold, but it's not. Apparently the cost is extremely low because of the amount they're using and the amount of gold that they're actually sprinkling, dusting, if you will, onto the battery. So now they're exploring whether this nanoparticle coating could work with copper electrodes for the next generation of batteries. And other technologies like sensors and solar cells. So this matters because we know zinc batteries are cheaper, right, than lithium ion, and they're safer, right? This technique could remove the barrier and open the door for more affordable renewable energy storage. Requires no special lab conditions, isn't very expensive. So this could be a big unlock for the energy storage industry. And I just want to give a shout out to Concordia. My sis, Dr. Mia, is a professor there. So good job, Concordia. Proud of you. And the bottom line is energy is always the name of the game here on planet Earth, and advances like this matter. So
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I saw a clip, and I may share it later, but of Elon Musk saying more or less that because of the consumption of energy with AI, like it might be cheaper at some point in the next 3 years to actually have all the data centers in space. I don't know if you saw this clip or not, but he's saying like if we had them in space, it'd be easier because they could harness the solar versus like leveraging all the other energy and water and other resources that we are leveraging right now to keep the data centers running. So yeah, energy is king right now. And I think that this is interesting. How much does it cost for like gold dust? I'm not been watching that.
I didn't research that, but it does. The articles I read did talk about how low cost this was, that it really wouldn't be a big impact.
They must have a lot of gold dust.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I like about, and I'm pretty sure China had some major battery breakthrough they're not sharing with us, but regardless, And I don't know a ton about it, but what I like about batteries is that it's such a foundational technology. So if we can improve sort of the reliability and the longevity of batteries, it's such a downstream effect to, or will have so many downstream effects to everything else that uses them. So I really like that. Shout out to Dr. Mia, to Miss Consalvo. And yeah, I love batteries. I used to eat them or I put them in my mouth as a kid, and apparently it's really bad. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be doing that.
for all the
Nope.
kids out there, don't be eating batteries.
Don't eat
Not good.
put them in your
I think
mouth.
It makes you
one of
really
the things one of the things it mentioned was replacing like diesel generators, right, as backup power. And that
Mhm.
that hit hard because we have one of those big old diesel generators, like it's a backup in case we lose the power for
yeah, we
because
do
we're up
too.
in the Northeast, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But honestly, it's so big, it's so heavy. I
So
can't really move it around. So, and Frank's usually traveling in the worst part of winter. And I'm like, oh, I hope the power doesn't go out. And I'm going to be very, very honest. I'm scared of it. I'm scared of it. And
Mm.
I think I feel more comfortable with a big old battery.
it makes a scary sound. It makes a scary sound. I don't like it either.
Yes. Yes. It is scary. All right. That's it.
All right. I'm sorry that you're so fearful of our generator, but I don't have a battery that we can leverage right now for our
But we
home.
will. We're going to have gold
Well,
batteries soon.
Yeah.
we just
All
take
right.
the gold. Sorry, one last thing. I mean, I would rather just have gold than a battery. Like, can we just take the gold off the battery and then give me the gold?
I doubt there's I was thinking about that. Would people start like trying to harvest batteries? Like, would the gold actually remain afterwards? Would that be
Yeah,
like a harvestable metal? So I don't know. I don't know.
unclear.
We'll have to
I'm more of
find
a
out.
silver guy. But anyways.
All right, moving along here, Simon. Speaking of energy, what's your story?
Yeah, so my story, Anthropic, they announced Claude Mythos. People have been saying Mythos. I'm pretty sure it's Mythos. Claude Mythos preview. So it's a new frontier model, and it sits above Opus in their lineup. It's the strongest yet at coding and agentic tasks, but it has huge cybersecurity ramifications. So basically, they're not releasing this to everybody. They released this to like 50 companies. It won't be released to the public because what it can do is that it identifies huge cybersecurity flaws that we had no idea about. So, for example, they found a major flaw in OpenBSD, 27-year-old vulnerability. And OpenBSD is one of the most like security hardened operating systems in the world. A lot of the internet is built off of it, and it's used to run firewalls and critical infrastructures. A bug in this sort of code would have huge ramifications. And basically, Mythos has found all these vulnerabilities on really um, foundational code that we use to build the internet. So they've provided it to cybersecurity companies, to Microsoft, to Google, so they can get a head start on protecting their cyber infrastructure before other companies and other people have access to this. And the interesting thing is that they founded Project Glasswing, which is like a coalition of companies sitting at the same table and understanding this technology and understanding how we can use it for defense before it gets to the general public. And I actually really appreciate this about Anthropic. They're known for being a little bit more cautious, being a little bit more safe with the development and rollout of AI. Most recently, they didn't want their AI being used for military purposes, at least to a certain degree. They know they lost a contract with the DoD, but frankly, like that kind of stuff makes me more inclined to use their product if they're so willing to be kind of the safe, responsible AI company. Um, Might be marketing, but if so, it worked on me. And essentially, the take is that this is a huge leap in the capabilities of LLMs, and sort of a preview of what we're going to get in the coming weeks, months, years as to what these can do. And um, it's phenomenal at identifying vulnerabilities for defense, but that also means that it's going to be phenomenal for identifying vulnerabilities for offense, which is scary. But there it is. Claude Mythos, everybody. It's our new friend.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I wonder if that's so. I don't know if you guys saw the news a couple days ago, but Sam Altman put out um, basically a whole like report around um, safety. So he called it as a 13-page paper, I guess you'd call it, called Industrial Policy for the Intelligence Age, to kickstart the conversation around the like a people first kind of idea, policy ideas. So I think there's they know that there was a little bit of backlash with OpenAI with felt the backlash from when with the government where there was that whole situation with
Yeah.
using things against other nations and surveillance and a whole thing. So there's a little bit of fallout from that. That's definitely impacting this AI race right now. And so I think OpenAI is feeling it. They just also acquired a media company that is fairly new for over like I think it was over $100 million, which
Yeah, I
is
saw that.
interesting. Yeah, so they're doing things to try to like change the narrative because they're not doing a great job right now with communications.
Totally. I
So
actually think that's really such an interesting aspect to the whole AI race is that it's so much about narrative and marketing. And
about communications, yeah.
this is a whole other topic, but I'm not sure if you all read the New Yorker article written by Ronan Farrow and somebody else about Sam Altman. Um, for those who aren't familiar, it was a huge article on the New Yorker. Sort of not a great look for Sam. It sort of painted him as someone who's maybe willing to say whatever the audience needs to hear in any given context. Um, and stuff like that. The Super Bowl commercials that indicate that Anthropic put out about OpenAI having ads, like all that
Hmm.
stuff really does matter. And as a mindless sheep myself, I watched those ads and I switched to Claude because I was like, I don't want to see ads. Um,
All
and
right, so you're
yeah,
talking about the fact that OpenAI was going to try a new model with advertising in there or advertising around the AI
I mean, yeah,
chatbot
they're doing it right
results. Yep,
now, actually.
yep, yep.
And I don't love that. So, anyways, marketing communications will be very, very important. Not as important as like the actual benchmarks and capabilities of new models, but I mean, for mindless sheep like myself, I think it's going to be impactful.
It's really interesting because from my perspective, I'm seeing this like history repeat itself. Like, and you probably do as well, Jen. Like, this is like happened with search, and now it's happening again with AI. And that like Google was, kind of started advertising around our search results, and eventually around our in our inboxes and things like that when they took over Gmail. Right, they started putting ads that were personalization is really what it's talking about. And Jen and I used to work on a team that did personalization for a big tech company. And so I think it's now 20 years later or so, and we're still like talking about personalization, and the way you approach it is really important because it can do what it just did to you, Simon, kind of freak you out if it's not done the right way, right? Like you pulled out and are going with another product that has all your data too. It's just you're hoping that they don't use it in a way that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, and they probably will, but I guess I prefer the company that's like less in your face about it.
Mhm.
And I also
Well,
think, go ahead, Jen.
I think the coalition play was like brilliant because there was a glaring hole in the industry. All we kept hearing over and over again was how all these companies were getting rid of their ethics people, how, there's just it just felt like it was just a land grab. Like we are going to use up all the resources on this planet to create the best AI to make the most money. And it didn't feel like anybody truly cared about anything else.
Yeah.
And they left such a big opening. And I think, that's kind of how Anthropic has been, they haven't been as flashy, they haven't been as out there. They've been just trying to build a great product, keep their head under, under the radar, just march and do their thing until they get to their IPO. And of course, the relationship with the DoD truly just kind of blew that up. But they've been able to, I feel like, at least from what I've heard, and who knows how this actually impacts their IPO. But I have heard of companies switching. I just spoke with a founder the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, we were using OpenAI. All this has been happening. We just decided to make the switch to Anthropic. We feel like we trust them more as a company. So there's something happening for real."
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, the thing that we've been seeing too is a little bit of a communication issue. Is that I see why they're acquiring companies. They could acquire us. We can talk the talk. So anyway, so what I was thinking was that well, actually, that's what established does marketing communication strategy. So yeah, it would make sense. Um, so what I was going to get at though was around the idea that the press that we've been seeing around OpenAI is, like you said, it was a negative, and then on top of it, they're like one of the products that got people excited or got me excited at least was Sora 2, their product that creates like AI generated clips. That was a really fun product, and I think that had some legs. Well, they're sunsetting that product to take those resources and apply them back to the AI race, and basically get ready for the button up for their IPO. And so I think things like that. It's not a great message for a user for like me. I was actually using that product quite a bit and still do, but eventually it's going to just go away and stop working. Um, to the point where like I was a paid user of OpenAI, and now I'm thinking I'm starting to like hedge my bet and get over into maybe Claude land and a little bit of Gemini. I'm like literally using all three of the majors right now just to see which is the best, because I don't know if they could sunset that. They could sunset other things too and change the way things work. And one tweak to the way that the chatbot works, and maybe I'm not using it anymore because it's not going to do what I need, as quickly or the way that I was used to using it. So I think it's interesting. It's like little tweaks like this are going to really lay out who's going to end up, being the front runner.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, the other one is like Apple's not even in that conversation right now, right? They're not, Siri's still as terrible as it's been forever. And eventually they're going to, some of the AI stuff they've been implemented is okay, but Siri still doesn't, I can't tell it to make a phone call and know it never calls the right person, right? It doesn't know what I'm talking about. So, or when you're driving and you ask it to look something up, it's like, here's the search results. Well, like, I can't look at search results, right? I'm literally driving a car. Like, I should not be looking at search results. You should have just spoke that to me, like whatever that is. So I think that's where it's like there's a big opportunity. I know they've done some partnerships now, I think with OpenAI to kind of do more there, but it's still like I feel like it's been coming forever. They had such an opportunity, All right, so let's move on. We got a new section, and we're gonna then wrap here. We got kind of a fun new round. It's like a speed round. We all see lots of different things while we're doom scrolling or whatever you want to call it on our phones, and we're trying to do less of that. But there's a new section here called Insta Crazy Talk. Insta Crazy Talk time, guys. We're going to talk about a couple things we've seen on the Insta or the TikTok or whatever. And so the first one is actually, I think I sent it to you, Jen. We'll insert it here in a second. Video of this fire department in California fighting flames with sound. And there's a company that is doing it, is a company called Sonic Fire Tech. And it was a clip that ABC 7 News Bay Area shared. And we'll run the clip as much of the clip as we can right now. And you can see it's putting out fires. It's putting out fires with sound waves, which is pretty phenomenal. I'm not sure why we haven't been doing this for longer or even knew that we could do that. But if it starves the oxygen, more or less, by the sound waves, and allows it to basically put out the fire. So that's pretty phenomenal. And so we're going to be adding these types of clips going forward. We've got a few more, but we're gonna skip ahead here because we want to get through a few more things before we wrap. But
Frank, question. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
You scream if you had a bunch of people. Could you scream at a fire and get it to go away?
Ooh, if you can starve the oxygen.
It has to do with, so I think it's like really low bass sounds.
Yeah.
I had to look when I first saw this, I thought it was an April Fool's joke, but it was not. And then I looked up and there's real science here. And this is why science matters, people. But it has to do with the level. So I guess there's like real low bass levels that work best. So I guess if you had really deep screams, Simon, maybe, but it has to interrupt. It's like a chemical reaction. It has to interrupt the relationship between the oxygen and the I can't remember, but it's
something like that.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
everyone share the link out in their notes, and you can look more into it. But the company, as I mentioned, it's called Sonic Fire Tech, and you can learn more about it there too.
It seems like it was an assistive technology, not just a replacement.
I think, we probably should still use water.
Yeah, probably. All right, so we're testing 1, 2, 3. What have we been experimenting with? I have something pretty cool. It's Norsport, which I think I brought up before, is a company out of Maine. They're making these kits. They make these mushroom kits where you can like buy the kit and you cut it open, and then you basically the mushrooms start growing out of here. And I'll show the video right now because I just harvested a huge thing of mushrooms out of here. These are blue oyster mushrooms. It took about, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days for them to grow. And now that I've harvested them, there's going to be new ones coming back, and it just continue to flourish. And you can chop them up and eat them because they're really good and good for you. So that's pretty exciting. Norsport is kind of a front runner now for creating these kits. They're based out of Portland, Maine. So check those out. Jen, you've been testing. What have you been testing?
Early sleep.
Early sleep? What does that mean? Getting to bed earlier?
Last night, I'm trying. It's still really, really hard. But last night, I can't believe I went to sleep by like 10:15, and I woke up naturally before my alarm. And I woke up and I felt so good. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what's going on? Why do I feel this way? It felt so good. I think I'm going to do it again.
Oh, nice work. Nice work.
Yeah.
All right. Simon, what about you?
Yeah, so I've been testing the I play this game sometimes. It's the how many cups of coffee I can drink in a day game. And 2 years ago, I got to 8 cups of coffee.
Oh,
Ooh.
I know. I don't think it's good for my body.
You and my brother would enjoy that. My brother does that too. What was his record, Jen?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was
Was it
in
not
like
8?
double digits.
It was like
Oh,
15 or something. It was like insane. I was like, how
Yeah.
do you do that?
Right,
But yeah,
well,
I
that's
used to
pretty
work.
high.
I used to work with someone who did that every single day, and he had a permanent shake. His hands shook all the time.
So I also shake all the time, but I just want to feel something. So I am playing today. I'm on my 3rd cup. My leg is twitching, but anyways, I'm
Are
testing
you
that.
doing it for the caffeine?
I don't know. I'm just doing it for like to feel. I don't know. Like I guess, yeah. Except there's a point of diminishing returns where like I get really productive, and then it's just I'm incapable of doing anything. Which
Jen, could you imagine me on that? I don't drink.
No,
I only do
Frank got
decaf now.
coffee at South by. That was quite the experience.
I had accidentally got some coffee. They gave me a regular caffeinated version at South by.
I was like a whole new
Can you
person.
imagine?
Frank is already addicted, and I mean it, addicted to decaf.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was possible.
It's
Me
just the
neither.
process. It's the process. Anyway, it might be the mushrooms inside of it. I don't know. All right, moving along. What are we watching, reading, listening? Well, we mentioned at the top, Out of Body, which we'll be watching here shortly. Simon and I already saw it, and Simon's in it, so that's kind of weird. He's in it.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sort
it's
of Daniel
out.
Lewis of documentary.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
What is it? Repeat that.
I'm like kind of the Daniel Day-Lewis of the documentary, I think.
There you go. There you go. I totally forgot this. Your dad gives us a little bit of a shout out for Established. He's like, oh, and my son Simon, he works at this global consultancy. Oh, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, look for that part. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think he really knows what I do still, but that's okay. That's fine.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Awesome. All right. So the other one was I wrote some planes recently. I've been catching up on all the Oscar nominated films. So one of them was Begonia with Emma Stone. And I don't want to say too much, but it's about 2 conspiracy obsessed men kidnap a CEO of a major company, and then when they become convinced that she's an alien who wants to destroy the Earth. So
It's really good.
check it out. It's suspenseful. It's dramatic. A little bit of
It's
funny.
very good.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very good. And it got 87 on Rotten Tomatoes. And yeah, check that out. And then one that's been kind of catching my attention on Instagram has been Bunko and Girth. Have you seen these people? Check them out. They're hilarious. They basically have a band, it's Bunko and Girth, and they have a show coming up in LA, but it's comical what they're going through as they prepare us all for their first show and being in the green room and everything else. They're pretty funny to watch and hear. Check those out. And then also I started a playlist because I'm new to the Spotify land. I usually use Apple, but I started a playlist, which is kind of fun. And I'm going to share it with y'all. It's a Somewhat Frank Americana Folk Vibes playlist. So if you have anything you want me to add to it, let me know. And we can just jam all day.
Yeah, we should jam more. We don't give a shit.
Have you young people heard of playlists?
Yeah. It's this new thing called the internet. So
Yeah. I'm jumping ahead.
I mean, I have tons of playlists on Apple. I just don't have any on
Right.
Spotify. I think that's
Right. I am all caught up on Shrinking, and I just want to say that Harrison Ford is forever my love watching him. So good in Shrinking. Everyone should watch.
He's not getting smaller though. He's the same size.
He's the same size. I just mean like he has there's a lot about him. There's a lot around him in the season, and he's just continues to prove himself as such an amazing on-screen character man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love Harrison Ford. From Raiders of the Lost Ark to Star Wars and everything else in between. All right, Simon, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm watching the new season of The Boys on Amazon. Well, technically, I'm watching the first episode of the new season today, so I'll let you know how it goes, but I will be watching it. And it's great because I wish I was a superhero who could fly. So that's what I'm watching.
That'd be cool. All right, we'll check all those out. And on our final thought here, have you ever been to a bar or restaurant where it's a phone-free environment? This is a new trend that's been popping up across the country in the U.S. And at least 11 states now have individual restaurants or bars with some form of phone or restriction for digital detox. And then more recently, Chick-fil-A, which is a major brand, they had a kind of like a promotion where you they had out in Townsend Place, Maryland. They offered free ice cream to families that kept their phones away from the table. And I guess there was a location that was in Georgia that was the first to do that back in 2016. So this has been an ongoing trend, but I'm seeing more and more of it as people try to disconnect and have their like meal separate from their social. If that makes
I'm
sense.
here for it. We need more of that, please. Yes, please. Yes,
What
please. Yes,
I'm supposed to
please.
talk to the people I'm eating with?
Yeah, make eye contact.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
But
how you meet and connect with people.
I do want to connect and meet people, so that's a good.
Right, Simon. So put the phone away and just like look around, and then you catch someone's eye, and that's how it happens.
well, it's interesting. Axios had a report about it recently, and by the numbers, the consumer affairs data showed that 2024 Americans checked their phones 144 times per day and spent about 4.5 hours on their device. Gen Z is among the like a most embracing of that kind of analog format and trying to unplug more, and boomers being the least intentionally unplugged. um and I can see that because like I don't know, you're seeing a lot more of like you know I don't know, just I could see I think we're trying to be more conscious about how we get off of those devices. And I think about my family and parents and whatnot. um like I always mute my ringer, for example, and I know that others in my family don't do that. They have the ringer on high and, are picking up and answering the phone during whenever they can. So I think that's kind of interesting, I think, difference culturally of how we take it on. But yeah, I'd love to have a little box that we put our stuff in during dinner, even at our own house, and maybe we can get free ice cream. What do you think?
I'm here
Sounds
for
good.
it.
Sounds good to me. All right. Well, that's all I've got today. Thank you all so much for being here and being a part of Somewhat Frank. And it's been a little bit of a drought, but we'll be back with more regular episodes. So thanks everyone for listening to episode 88. And if you liked what you heard, please subscribe, leave a message over on our review, and share with a friend. And we'll be back soon with another episode. And out there, stay curious out there for sure. And stay Somewhat Frank. Thanks for listening to the Somewhat Frank podcast. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and leave us a review. We love the feedback and are grateful to have you as a listener. Have a great day.